Hello, everybody. Hi, this is Shirley with Shirley's Threadwork, and it is Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday. Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. I want to say a shout out to everybody that's in YouTube land as well as Facebook land. Thank you for watching. Also want to thank everybody that will be watching the replay. I do appreciate all of your support. I'm going to start first off to let you know that no, I did not move. This is my green screen. So I have a background here. And the reason for it is that I am not in my studio. I am desperately trying to figure out a way to get this internet to work better for me because I do know the past few videos that I have put out have had a lot of lagging and stopping and freezing and all of those things, and it is really irritating me. I know it's irritating you, and I am asking you guys to continue to bear with me because I'm still working on that. I don't know what it's going to look like tonight, but I have a sneaky feeling it's still going to have some of the issues. Now, what I did, I moved almost practically next to my internet modem, and I have two boosters in my house. So you would think that it would work well. My internet is working well as far as the computer is concerned. However, when I look at the connection feed or the broadband for the streaming, it is saying that it's very low, and that's what causes the lagging. So again, like I said, I apologize, but I tell you what I have done. I have reached out and I am going to be using a different internet company that is supposed to be specifically, well, they have options specifically for content creators and people that work from home. So you're supposed to get a very good connection. And I also plan on changing my streaming platform as well. Hopefully doing those two things will resolve this issue that I'm having with my internet, because again, like I said, it is irritating me. So I know it's irritating you, but I do appreciate you guys sticking with me and everything. So just wanted to get that out there right away, first off the bat, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm not aware of what it looks like, because I look at my video afterwards and I'm like, oh my goodness, and I don't know what else to do. So as you guys pop in, you will see the background that is not mine. It is a green screen because I am not in my studio, but I'm going to go ahead and do the presentation from here and go forward. I'm actually downstairs in my kitchen, and like I said, I am sitting practically on top of the modem trying to get it to do what it's supposed to do. So I don't know if that's going to resolve my issue or not, but we shall see. So let me say hi to the people that have popped in. Hi, Robin. How are you? Hi, Pearl. Jenny, Val, how are you? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. And you guys, everybody but Pearl is part of the Social Society crew that we get together on Wednesday night. So hopefully I'll see all of you guys tomorrow night. And then after that, I will be flying out of town for a while. Anyway, I already see some popping going on, so I'm pretty sure there's something that's not doing what it's supposed to do with the internet. And I don't know. I think it's just the broadband, to be honest about it. The more people get on, the weaker the broadband gets, it seems. I don't know. But we're going to hang in here. We're going to do the best we can. And I'm going to go through everything with you guys, and hopefully, like I said, it doesn't get too bad. And next week, hopefully with a new internet service, things will be a lot better. Hi, Danielle. How you doing? Thank you for stopping by. I do appreciate it. So tonight, we are going to be talking about the top 10 personalized gifts that sell all year round. We've been talking about selling and personalization and gifts and everything for the past 2 weeks. So this is week 3. And as I mentioned, we will be talking about personalized gifts that sell well. And that is an exciting topic to me, because what it does, it gives us I will be giving you guys some information that I got that I didn't really know going forward. But once I did my research and everything, I said, hey, this is pretty cool to get some of the deep dive information about some of these things that we make for ourselves and that we also make to sell. And I know that we talked about selling things, and I know I'm getting hot, so I'm pulling my sweater off. Not my top sweater. Put it that way. I was cold and I put a sweater on, and now I guess I've had 2 swallows of wine and now I'm getting hot. What can I say? Anyway, so I said, let me get this off before I sit up here and pass out. All right, that's better. I just have it on my shoulders because I was getting kind of warm up in here. Anyway, so I will go down the list and I'm going to tell you all of the information that I have gathered about what AI basically has said is the top selling personalized items that you can sell all year long. So it's not seasonal. You know, a lot of things that we make are seasonal. We do Christmas stuff right now. People are working on Halloween stuff as well as Thanksgiving or fall or Christmas stuff. But these things are, you can utilize those themes, but the products themselves are something that sells all the time. So the first one that came up, which is quite interesting to me, is monogram kitchen towels or tea towels. And what makes that interesting to me is the fact that that's what I have on my Etsy store or Etsy shop. I have decorative kitchen towels, and they can be monogrammed, personalized, put your name on it and all of that. And that seems to be something that is something that sells all year long. So why do they sell? Because of low cost, the usefulness of these towels, they're easy to gift, they're fast to stitch, and they are a great entry product if you're just starting out with selling items. And you don't have to have an Etsy shop, as we talked. You know, people like gifts. And when they see that you've made something, then they tend to want you to make something for them, even though you may not be doing this as a business. So a lot of you actually do have that sideline hustle. I know that, where you utilize your skills and you're making things and you're selling them. So if you're interested in moving on up with that, then these products should be of great interest to you. Matter of fact, I have several of the gifts that I've gotten through the giveaway that the exchange Elster that Jeanette does on her Baroque Sewing and Craft channel have been kitchen towels. A lot of people do kitchen towels. And I was starting off collecting them and keeping them and not using them. And I said, that doesn't make sense. Why do that? So now I am putting them out in my kitchen and using them. And I'm quite happy that I'm doing that. So that leads me to believe that other people will be happy to get towels and things like that. So the best buyers or occasion for towels are for housewarming gifts, hostess gifts, birthdays, teacher gifts, corporate sets. Those are things that you can incorporate selling your towels. Blank materials, the best thing to get are 100% cotton flat weave or flour sack. Keep a stripe and a solid mix, which I have. A lot of people like the weave, and it sews really well, and it really makes beautiful embossed towels. I have the waffle weave towel as well as the flat quote unquote flour sack towel, as well as the striped ones. And I have to tell you, they all stitch really beautiful. However, when I do the weave, because it does have some pile to it, Pile. It turns out so pretty, so pretty. That embossed embroidery on those type of tiles are absolutely beautiful. So they sell well. The They also talk about how to hoop them. Some people prefer to float. I don't do a lot of floating on my when I'm doing my embroidery. And one of the main reasons why I don't float, I don't really have to, because as you all know, 99% of the time I am using my mighty hoops, which allows me to be able to hoop everything that I almost everything that I embroider. There are just a few things that I cannot hoop, and then the ones that I can't hoop, I usually use my Durkee frames, and or either the Hoop Tech frames that I have. So rarely do I use the plastic frames that actually came with the machine. But anyway, tearaway or water-soluble topper if it has a pile. A 7511 needle is perfectly fine. And your density is between 0.35 and 0.40, which is suggested. They also have a recommendation that you put the embroidery at least 3 to 4 inches above the hem and center it. And that's pretty much what I have done. And if you have a hooping station, Mighty Hoop, if you use Mighty Hoop and you have a hooping station, then you can set your hooping station up so to make sure that your tiles, every one of them that you do, will line up exactly the same when you set it up. And that's something that I really love using the hooping station for. So that makes another good reason to have one. They also recommend the personalization idea, a single initial, or either your 3 initial monogram, and you can select certain monogram designs and let that be your standard. Also family name, funny kitchen phrases and things like that. And all of those things I have incorporated on my kitchen tiles that I sell. The one thing that I do want to point out from experience, because I'm learning the hard way, pick a design that is not heavily dense, nor does it have a large stitch count, because you will be cheating yourself basically out of what you can charge for the tiles. Because if it takes a long time to stitch your design out, then you're losing money, because like we talked about last week about hourly pay and your floor charge and all of those things, you want to make sure that you can price your tile to be competitive but also profitable. And the more dense and more stitches you have in your design, then it's going to take you longer to do it, and you're using more thread, more product and everything. So like I said, you're going to lose money. The last sale that I did, I had a beautiful, beautiful design, loved it to death, but I totally forgot how many stitches it was. And when I got the order and realized that I had several of these to stitch out and the price that I was selling it for, I have to tell you, I was not happy at all. And be perfectly honest about it, I took it off my I took it off out of my store, because I said I'm not going to sell it anymore for that price. I'm not going to do it. I'll probably put it back on later on, but it will definitely be at a higher price, because I didn't make any money and I was not happy about that. So just keep that in mind. The single initial, the 3 letter monogram, or a reasonably length family name, or some cute little family or a funny kitchen phrase is absolutely perfect. I would not go anything beyond that, because you probably will lose money if you do. Now they go on to say, if you're going to stitch it on a single needle, you might want to float your towels. If you don't have like the dime magnetic frames that fit on single needle machines, I don't think Mighty Hoop makes any, but Dime does, and I think Brother may have some that fit on their single needle machines as well. You also need, you can use tearaway or sticky tearaway if you're using the Durkee frames or the fast frames. You can also do the base box where you baste it on to keep it from chipping and everything. And also, do not forget to use your topper, your water-soluble stabilizer if it has a pile, so it doesn't sink down. Or you can do knockdown stitches. If your machine, if your software allows you to set that up or digitize it in your designs to do the knockdown. If you have embroidery enthusiasts, then you can make your design where it will do the knockdown stitches, and that makes it come out really, really pretty. And that's pretty much what you have to use, I believe, when you're doing the embossed tile too. So that makes it really beautiful. Multi-needle machine, of course, you can use your magnetic hoops and everything like that, and it works really well. You need to batch your colors. Basically, they're telling you how to produce things quickly. So you put colors together. You can do a color sort if you have the software that does that. And if you don't know what color sort means, ask me and I can tell you. Put it in the chat. Also, like designs and everything, so you can just kind of run through it, and then before you have to switch out your thread or switch out your design or whatever, just kind of do a batch of the same things as you go. Now, pricing. What is a good price for a kitchen towel or a tea towel? The base price starts around $14 to $18 just for a plain design, which would be for me 1 to 3 initials. But they also say if you're going to personalize it, then you need to add $4 to $8, depending upon how much personalization you do. I wasn't charging that much. I was charging $3, depending upon how much had to be done. If it's beyond a reasonable length name, say 7 letters, then my price would go up. And then also they recommend that you bundle your towels. Get 2 towels for $28 to $32 versus if they're $14 a piece, of course, 2 for $28 is what it is. $18 a piece, then $32, you're saving what, $4, so you save a little bit of money. Also upsell. That's something that I had never thought about doing, is upselling, but I realized that is a good idea. What is upselling? Well, make an ensemble. You have your kitchen towel, then you can add a matching pot holder or oven mitt or some type of gift wrap belly band or something like that to make a set out of it, and then sell it at a higher price. Now you have to take into consideration the additional time and effort and all of that. So when you're going to sell it at a higher price, make sure you price it correctly so you're not losing money. But what it does, if you make an ensemble out of it, people can see that as a wonderful gift, and it's not just a towel, but you have a towel with a pot holder, with a placemat, with coasters, something along that line, an oven mitt or what have you. And they can say, oh, this would make a wonderful Christmas gift or hostess gift or whatever. So it really makes your gift, I don't want to say prettier, that's not the word I'm looking for, but makes it something that people would really love. People like matching things. And it just would make for a good thing, except for, instead of just having a towel or 2 towels, you have a set. And it goes over really, really well. And with that, you can up that price. So that's why they call it upsell. So that is the number one thing that they have. Also, they give you tips on SEO and the photo tip, how to take the picture and how to take a picture of your thing that you're selling. And it is to style it near a cutting board with neutral props and have a up close shot of the stitching. Now I have done ensembles and put my tiles on a coat on a charger, but the cutting board really seems like it works out well. Mine I've done with a charger. I've also done it with a placemat with wooden utensils and everything. Just kind of make it, look like something that you would be using in your kitchen. So that's for the monogram tiles. Number two, which we've talked about, and I know sells very well, and that is personalized baby blankets. Baby blankets, bibs, swaddles, all of those things, burp cloth, those things sell all year round. Also, the onesies, which we're not supposed to call them onesie, that's copyrighted. So you can't put that down as the title of what you sell. I think you have to call it a bodysuit, I think is what I was told. But anyway, those things sell. And there is a constant demand for baby items because people have babies all year long. And the best buyers are, of course, parents, grandparents, co-workers, anybody that is going to a baby shower or something like that. So it's always going to be a need for some type of baby item. The best material would be your fleece or your minky, especially when you're looking for blankets, or muslin for swaddles. And it is suggested that you keep it neutral in color unless you get a customized order, because you want to be able to have whatever your design is that you've selected to make it look really cute and sweet has to be something that can be either for a boy or a girl. So pastel colors usually work well. Beautiful yellows, light greens, even light blues and pinks and peach. And any of the pastel colors work really well, and they can be used for either or, doesn't matter. And beautiful little cute little animals and baby animals and things like that work really well. Teddy bears, sheeps, or the lambs, even the little piggies and stuff like that. So that would be fine for your baby blankets. And I love the heirloom quilts, which usually are all white, but you can get them in various colors, or you can get them in white with various color banding around it. I made a ton of those for my little great granddaughter when she was being born. I know she has to have at least 10 of them, at least. I had to put a stop on it because every color that I saw, I fell in love with, and I wanted to stitch it up. And then I actually did an ensemble because I would make beautiful designs in the circles. Some of my heirloom quilts that I gave my great granddaughter, I did all 12 circles. Some I only did the 4 outside circles. Some I went all the way there. I just did different things. So those are things that you can do if you're selling them. You can make the different arrangements and have them listed so people can pick and choose. But the most common would be one circle kind of at the bottom cat corner when they fold it. And because that's the most economical, because they run you a good $50-$60 or more just for the one circle. So the more circles you have, the more it's going to cost. So at least that's how I do it. More circles I do, the more I charge. Now they suggest no-show mesh or light cutaway underneath, and I have to preface one thing about the towels. I forgot. I have used no-show mesh on my kitchen towel, but I've also decided to go ahead and start doing them with tearaway. And I know it says if you wear it, don't tear it. So I'm thinking, you know, if you're going to be using it to wash, you know, to wash dishes with or whatever, you want it to stay. But then most people don't like that stabilizer on the back. So how do you rectify that? So putting tearaway back there makes it look nice and clean and everything, and people like it. And what I realized, a lot of people are like me, they don't use the towels. They use them as decoration, and after they've had it for a while, then they may go ahead and use it. And at that time, they don't care if it kind of, you know, begins to wear, because it's probably time to get some more. So it is possible to use tearaway, not tearaway. Yeah, tearaway stabilizer instead of the cutaway. But back to the baby blankets, you can use no-show mesh or light cutaway underneath, on top, of course, the water-soluble stabilizer. Now, I have to tell you what I have done when I did my quilt. The first few that I did the no-show mesh. Then I had seen someone say that they didn't do any stabilizer at all. And I decided to try it. And to be, you know, believe it or not, it worked. I did not use any stabilizer on my heirloom quilt, and they stitched out perfectly without any problems. And they have held up pretty well. I was surprised. It kind of reminds me of like with denim or something like that. That is the fabric and everything is so stable. You're able to do that. Now I see, how you doing, Unbiased LLC? I see you put water soluble stabilizer, which is also something that you can use on top, especially if you're doing minkies and you're doing fleece and flannel. Those kinds of materials, you definitely want to use your water soluble stabilizer. But you could probably put that on the bottom as well, like a violin, like the water soluble stabilizer that looks more like paper. You could probably put that on the bottom, or you could use like the Sulky Ultra Solvent water soluble stabilizer. I love that. It is nice and thick, so you can use that, and it can be pulled off. And then whenever they do wash it, because I don't wash anything that I'm selling, but whenever the customer gets it and they finally decide to wash it, what little bit of residue that is left that you weren't able to pull off will definitely wash out. So those are suggestions as well. I mentioned placement on the corner, and they said about 6 or 7 inches from the edge. Now, that's if you're going to have just a regular blanket. If you're using the heirloom quilt, then I make sure that my design fits well into the circle that comes on the quilt, and that makes it look really nice and sharp, but still on the corner. Unless you're going to do multiple corners or, you know, position it in different spots like I did. Like I said, I just had a field day with, and every heirloom quilt that I did had a theme, and I just followed the theme, and that dictated how many circles that I did. Personalization ideas: name plus the birth statistics, name plus a little icon like a bear or a star or a sheep or something like that, or something cute that you can put on there, unless it is customized and they want something else. The baby's name, and if it is like a baby shower or something, they have not named the baby, or if they don't know the gender of the baby, and you want to make something that is personalized, you can always put baby, whatever the person's last name is, or you could just do like sweet baby, baby angel, whatever, something along that line that would work out regardless of what gender the child is and what name they decide to name the baby. Most people nowadays know what they're going to have and have already got the name picked out, everything. So usually that part is not an issue, but the statistics and everything would be something that would make it a keepsake. What I have done, and I'm always talking about what I have done, because most of these things I have made and sold or either given them away as a gift. When my great-granddaughter was born, I did not do the stats on her blankets. I did the stats on a elephant cuddle with the big ears, and I just put the stats on the ear, which was a mistake on my part because they took it and gave it to her for a toy, and she fell head over heel in love with it. So now she's dragging it all over the place. So I thought they were going to use it as an heirloom gift because it kind of went with her theme. Her theme was the jungle, and so her main quilt that I did all 12 circles, and I had the cute little baby animals, jungle animals, in all 12 circles, and then I did the stat with the ears of an elephant. But what I did and what they did with it was two totally different things. These people, what can I say? But also the initials. Now, I did initials, I did names, I did all kinds of different things. Each one of the quilts that she got, every one of them had a different theme, different colors, all of that. So it was a lot of fun. So I know with me making it was a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun to customers that want to buy it. So those are samples. I did take pictures, but I really didn't advertise them. I kind of took it for my own, memory, I guess, of what I did. The suggested price for swaddles, $28 to $45. For the Mickey or hooded blanket, if you're going to do a hooded one, $38 to $65. Now, those blankets, those heirloom blankets cost you right around $30 if you buy them retail. You can get them a lot cheaper wholesale, but you're not making a lot of money if you pay wholesale price and you only charge $38. So $38 for heirloom is kind of low. The $65 is a little closer to what I sell mine for. And also the Verstat block, just the block itself, they're suggesting $8 to $15. Also, they're suggesting upselling with this, and that would be a matching bib or a burp cloth or some type of keepsake box. Or I'm going to add the cuddle animals. You can get cuddle animals. Well, they call them cuddles, but they're just stuffed animals, but they're special because they have the zipper that comes so you can take the stuffing out of the stuffed animal, and you can have it flat so you can actually stitch on it, and then you can put the stuffing back in and zip it back up. That's why they call them cuddle. And I think All Brand and All Stitch are the two that I'm familiar with where you can buy them from. That's where I've gotten mine from. And they have all kinds of, they have the little puppies and the rabbits and the elephants and oh, goodness gracious. I forgot what all they have, but they have a lot of different little animals and things that you can purchase and do the birth stats on there. Or you can just, monogram it, put some type of personalization on it. Now, photo tip. Roll and tie it with a ribbon and include a font swatch card in the photo. So I would fold it so they can definitely see the design that you're trying to sell. And if you're doing personalization, there's suggestion that you have a cute little card already made up with that particular font on it so they can see it. And that will be the card that you would put in the photo when you're putting it on your Etsy site. And if you never done Etsy, you have to have a listing for every product, and you have to have multiple pictures of that particular product that is recommended, so you can list it and advertise it so they can sell. And it is helpful if you do that. I haven't done multiple pictures on mine, but I have on some, not all of them. So who has hopped in since I started? I see Unbiased LLC, Baker McFate. How you doing? Pearl, how are you? Uh, Let me see who else came in. Carol, how are you? And I saw somebody say congratulations, so I want to know what is being congratulated. So let me see. What have I missed? What conversation have I missed? Because you guys are talking and everything to each other, which is very, very good. So you get to know everybody. I like that a lot. Okay. Danielle, I would like to investigate. This is what you're asking me? I would like to investigate these monogram tiles on Wednesday so alone. We can talk about that. Actually, we can talk about that. Let me see. What else? Rachel? Who is Rachel? Who did I miss? And I mentioned Pearl. I think I did. I think I said hi to Pearl. And Carol, you said, what are you saying? Your son and daughter-in-law have waited to birth each time to find out gender. We have 4 boys now. Good. Good. Congratulations with the 4 boys. And that's so cool, waiting to find out. It's exciting when you do that, I think. At least it was for me. Because back in the day, we didn't have an option. And Unbiased says that that's what you did with all 3 of your kids. It was a surprise every time, in my opinion. You get the best gift when they don't know the gender. That's probably true. My 3 kids, I had no clue what they were going to be until they got here. But yes, people, I love the pastel colors and stuff, and a pretty pastel green and a pretty pastel yellow works for any gender. And that's usually what I will do. You can do a really, really light pink and a really, really light blue as well. And that can work. Whatever you're doing, if you're doing some type of design or something, make sure that it's neutral, like a teddy bear or baby duck or baby lamb, something like that that works with either or. It doesn't matter. So that makes it a lot easier until the child is born. And once the child is born, or you find out what the gender is, then you could be a little bit more quote unquote gender specific, if there's such a thing anymore. But whatever mom and dad likes and wants. Because like I said, for my great granddaughter, they decided to do a jungle theme for her nursery. Now I don't know who was liking the jungle. To me, that wasn't a feminine type of nursery, but it was really, really, excuse me, it was really, really cute. So it worked. And the things that I made and stuff were really cute and sweet. So it worked for a girl. And last year for Christmas, I actually made her a quilt. And I was lucky because I found a really cute panel that went along with the jungle theme as well. And what I did, I made sure I incorporated colors that are more to the liking of a girl, and made it a little more feminine for her. I think I added some peach in there to kind of, break that the browns and all of that color up. So that is for the baby clothes. Now, the next thing they brought up, number 3, is the everyday tote bag, putting names and monogram. Now, tote bags are very, very popular, and I can see where they sell well because everybody has a tote and everybody needs a tote. And I don't think you can have too many totes, because totes not only are for you to carry something in, people use totes for their collections or their storage, stuff like that. So you can definitely use totes for many, many different things around the house. The question, why do they sell? Because they're practical, reusable, they are everywhere. You can use it for school, for work, for errands, library, church, everywhere. Shopping, back when we could go to Joann, you could take your tote in there for your fabric haul and things like that. So totes are something that people do use. Back in Maryland, and I'm pretty sure those that are from Maryland, I don't know about Virginia got to it yet, but in Maryland, they were making people, they were getting rid of plastic bags. So you basically had to bring your own bag to the grocery store because they weren't using plastic bags anymore. And if you wanted to use their paper bags or their higher price reusable plastic bags, you had to buy them. So I got used to carrying a tote into the grocery store. Here in Missouri, they still allow you to use plastic, so that's not an issue for me anymore. But I did accumulate a lot of totes, a lot of totes for that. Some of the materials that are recommended is canvas, of course, and they said 10 to 16 ounce. The jute, which to me is what I kind of call that, I just lost it. Burlap. The burlap are jute, are faux leather panels, or the whole tote can be faux leather. Or you can there's some pretty nice cotton ones that you can have. I know we did totes for one of our projects, the Social Society project. We did totes, and I'm pretty sure every one of us used quilting, quilter's cotton, because we quilted the totes. That was part of the assignment. We quilted the totes, and I made 2 of them, and I use one of them every day now that I'm working, because I put my stethoscope and blood pressure machine and all that kind of stuff in that one of those totes that I made, and that's what I use and carry. And I also before then I was using that whenever I would fly. I would put all of the stuff, instead of having a purse and a bag or whatever on the plane, everything went into my tote. My purse went into the tote, and anything else that I needed to bring on the plane went into the tote. And I just brought the tote because it was nice and big and roomy, and I could do that. And then I didn't have to be worried with 2 things. Only had one, because you could only take 2 things on the plane. And that included your purse. So I said, I know how to get around that. So the embroidery specs, medium tearaway or cutaway for thin canvas. You can use an 80-12 needle, and it is suggested that you put your monogram, your initial, or your design or whatever about 3 to 4 inches below the top edge, center or lower right corner. So usually I do whatever I'm going to do in the center of my tote. And you guys know I'm the ones that like big stuff. So my designs are usually big or multiple. I've done several different designs on one side of a tote, or I've done a big monogram, a nice size monogram, like 5-6 inch monogram, stuff like that, on or a name or something like that on a tote, or some type of phrase or something. Like I did do a tote that I did as a giveaway for Elster, and I did Fabric Hall, the person's name, and the thing Fabric Hall, so they could take it to Joann's or wherever and put all their fabrics in there that they're going to buy. Now, use a flat bottom tote that opens. Float with it when you're sewing it. If you're using it on, I don't float. Rarely do I float, like I said, because I'm able to use my Durkee fast frame if I need to, or usually I'm able to use my mighty hoop. So I haven't had a problem with being able to embroider on any type of tote. And I've done the jute or the burlap. I've done faux leather, and I've also, of course, done canvas or regular cotton. So I've been able to do all kinds of materials on my 10-needle machine. The pricing is suggested to be between $22 and $24. I'm sorry, $22 and $45, depending upon the size and quality of the tote. And then you can add an extra $6 to $12 for extra lines or motif. So as you can see, those totes aren't cheap. They're not cheap. And rightfully so, because for me, I can do it pretty easily without a big issue on my 10-needle machine. But if you're not using a multi-needle machine, it can be very challenging and hard to do. So I can see where it would be worth that extra money. Upsell, put a key fob with it, or in the hoop zipper pull, or a matching pencil pouch, something that they would use. And I have to tell you, the gift that I gave was kind of similar to that. Wasn't even thinking about upselling. But what I did, I did the tote, I did a zipper pouch, and I did a cloth covered composition notebook, you know, the big notebook that you can get out of Walmart or the dollar store. I think it's not an 8 by, I think it's a 9.5 by 7, something like that. But you make the cover to go on top of it, and I did that. All of it was personalized. So that was a pretty good upsell. You can personalize it, you know. You can make it for teachers. I don't know if I did say school, so teachers could use a tote. Those make good gifts, Christmas gifts for teachers, because they always have a whole lot of stuff that they have to carry back and forth to school with all the lesson plans and grading papers and stuff like that. So they would love a tote. And that notebook thing, all of that. And be sure when you're taking pictures of it, they suggest you take it with books or flowers or some type of lifestyle image over a tabletop. Just show how it could be used. If you're making it for picking up grocery, because a lot of people do use their totes for grocery, you can make it set the photo up in the kitchen and just have some produce or something kind of spilling out the bag a little bit, that kind of way, to make it, you know, just kind of give them an idea of what they can use the tote for. Number 4, caps, baseball caps and beanies. Now, they're trying to capture the men, they said, because that's what men like, and men are hard to make things for. And they said, why sell it? Because it is unisex, and you can make it for teams, clubs, trips, and as they said, great for men since they're a harder category to serve. We think about what women like and what women will buy and want and use. Rarely are we able to incorporate what we're going to do for men, because we don't want it to be too feminine. And a lot of people think embroidery is strictly for women, but of course we know it's not. So many people wear t-shirts and hoodies and ball caps. And I mean, I could just go a whole list of things that we can embroider for men. So don't think that there's nothing that you can do for men because it is. I do stuff for my husband all the time. He's always asking me to put, now, oftentimes he will buy a hoodie because he's into sports and he has all these sport hats and hoodies and what have you, but he wants me to enhance them. He'll buy one that's already done up, and then he'll say, can you put this phrase on the back, or can you do this on the sleeve, or can you do this down the front, and all of that kind of stuff. So you can do things for guys as well on embroidery, because I end up having to do that all the time, and he will wear it. The blanks and materials would be unstructured cotton caps. And you can do structure, but as Jeanette was talking about on her Friday Night Live last Friday, you can do structured hat on a flat or single needle machine, but it is very difficult. I don't recommend it. Don't try it unless you think you can do well with it. Now, I've done a 112 Trucker's 112 cap on my 10 needle machine because I wanted to see if I could. As they said, that's the hardest cap to embroider, and I did it, and I really didn't have a big issue with it. So I was pleasantly surprised because I was expecting it to be a challenge and a chore, and it really wasn't. It wasn't any different than doing an unstructured cap. The trick to caps is just hooping it right. If you have a good hooping station, then you should be fine. I have a smaller one. I don't have the big one. It didn't come with my machine. I do want to get a bigger one because you can go further around, and mainly because you have to have the big. When I say big, it's the standard size hoop that comes with most multi-needle machines. Now, Hoop Tech has an addition apparatus that you can use with those particular hoops, cap hoops, but it allows you to get closer to the brim. And from all the indication I have read and everything says men like their embroidered item, whatever, as close to the brim as possible. With my 10 needle machine or the Brother 10 needle machine, they are usually anywhere from an inch to an inch and a half away from the brim, which is kind of disappointing when it comes down to guys. They look good to me. I don't have an issue with how it looks, but apparently, according to the things that I've read, men like to have their designs closer to the brim. So that's why I want to get the Hoop Tech hooping system, but I can't, not right now, because my hoop that I currently have will not work with it. And that means if I want to get the Hoop Tech hooping system, I got to get another hooping cap hoop. So that's a lot of money. So I don't know if that's going to ever happen. I don't know, but that's what I would like to do at some point. So the unstructured cotton caps, you can put names, monograms, you can put different designs, you can put patches on it, you can stitch directly on the cap what would normally be a patch, all of that. And I have to tell you, I have been able to stitch on the back of a regular cap. My son, I've done several for him, and they turned out perfectly fine with the hooping station that I have. So you can do the back, you can do the sides. I do have a Hoop Tech clamp where I can clamp my hat if I need to do sides. So I'm okay if I really wanted to do that. The only thing is getting the design closer down on the brim. I've not figured out how to get around that. Also, cuff beanies for the winter works really well. And some guys wear beanies all year long, especially if they're bald. They like to have something to cover their head, and either they're wearing a cap or a beanie. So that's something that you can also sell all year long. So you use a cap backing, 2 to 3 ounce tearaway, or cutaway. I use cutaway with mine. 7511 sharp needle. They suggest 600 stitches per minute for the speed. That's about right. I don't think I've gone any faster than that. I may have even gone slower. And the design is 0.8 to 2.2 inches. Now, the design definitely depends upon what capability your machine has. So depending upon what the design is, you go as big as your machine will allow you to go, because that's usually what men like. And I think my hooping hoop frame, I can do 3 inches by 5. I think that's what it is. I think it's a 3 by 5. And usually you will get or do yourself digitized design specifically for a cap, because the way it is digitized, usually it will start in the center of the cap and stitch out. So it is imperative that you, when you're hooping, your cap is hooped correctly, where it is centered and lined up perfectly in the center, because your design is going to go from the center point and stitch out. That way they'll go here and stitch this one, and then they'll stitch that one, but it's going to go from the center and stitch out. It's not going to go from side to side. So if you have a design that is not specifically for a cap, it will stitch and it may be fine. But then again, it's a potential that it could be a problem as well. So just keep that in mind. People have asked, well, can you use a regular design on a cap? Yes, you can. I have, no problem. I just know that that is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to stitch from the center out. If you're going to do it on a single needle machine, use a single needle hoop frame, and then you stitch on the crown panel. Well, they said before you assemble it. That's if you're making your cap or anything, but just use a hoop frame specifically made for a single needle, and you'll have to flatten that part down the best that you can. A lot of people flatten it down with spray adhesive and pin it, but then you have to make sure you pin the parameters outside of the stitching line so you don't hit a needle or anything. But I've tried to do a hat once on my single needle, and I wasn't successful, and I left it alone. I didn't care for it. It was too much work, and I couldn't get the design as large as I wanted it and all of that. So I just waited, and once I got a multi-needle machine, then I just started stitching hats from that, and without any issues. Pricing for a cap, $24 to $38. Beanies, $18 to $28, plus the $5 to $10 for the design or the location if you added a location, like the side or the back. Upsell, you can have a matching dad or dad and son set. You can put travel destination bundles like a cap, a t-shirt, or a hoodie, or a towel, or like a camping towel, or something along that line, depending upon what they're going to be doing or what you're trying to do. And I did see a cute commercial that's playing on TV where the dad or the guy has a hat, and then he may have one made for his dog. So they do have doggy hats too. So that's another bundle that you could think about doing. If the person has a pet, a dog, you can do him a hat, and you can do a matching hat for the doggy. So that would be too cute, too sweet. The photo tip model shot at a slight angle and then the side profile so they can see if you did anything from the side. But just to shoot it from an angle, or if you're lucky enough to have a model, then have a model display the cap. Hi, George. You haven't missed George. You have not missed that much. Okay, number 5, personalized throw blankets. Now, we talked about baby blankets, and now we're talking about personalized blankets for grown people. And that goes over well also because how many people have throw blankets all over their house, on their couch, on their chair, on their bed? We all have throw blankets. We travel. I take a throw blanket with me, a really light throw blanket with me when I travel, because I get cold on those things. So I don't think you can have too many throws. And personalize them. People love them because it just makes you feel good when you see your name or your initial or something that is specific to you on any kind of item that you get. So why do they sell? Because they're cozy. Home gifts. They're cozy. Who does not want to cuddle up underneath a nice plush throw and watch TV? We all do. They're good gifts for birthdays, anniversary, dorms, retirement, any gift. Christmas. I've gotten them for Christmas. I've given them for Christmas. I've given them to even to the guys. I got them all. The guys in my life are all military, and I got 2 Marines and a Navy, and I ended up giving 2 Marine blankets and a Navy blanket or a throw for a Christmas gift one year. The material: microfiber, fleece, serpa, cable knit, acrylic, or woven cotton. That's the material. You can make these blankets. They have the ones that you tie. I've never done that, Leslie, or you did a lot of the tie blankets. I've never done that. I have put flannel and fleece and stuff together and sewed it around and all of that and made the blanket, but I haven't done the one that you just tie together. But I have definitely stitched on them and personalized them. And of course, you're going to use your water soluble. You can use no-show mess or medium cutaway. And if you're doing the serpa or the flannel or the fleece or minky or anything like that that has a pile, you definitely want to make sure that you use your water-soluble stabilizer on top. It's recommended that you put the design about 8 to 10 inches from the edge. You don't want to put it in the middle of the blanket. You want to put it 8 to 10 inches from the edge. You can do a corner as well. That will work. What are some of the ideas? Family name, established. That's pretty popular right now, where you have the family name and it was established whenever you all got married, got together, whatever. You can have it as a housewarming gift, and then you can put the year that you bought the house, moved in the house. Doesn't have to be a new house, just move there, and all of that. That has meaning. Any kind of meaningful quote or name. You can put the person's initial on it. Or, as I mentioned, if they're military or with some type of organization, you can emphasize that. They make good dorm gifts. You can definitely put a sorority or fraternity name on the blanket, or their school name, or whatever organization they happen to be participating in school. All of those things are good ideas as far as personalizing that blanket. Production tip: large magnetic hoop, and use knockdown stitches on shaggy texture or tile texture. That works well. I would prefer the knockdown stitches versus sewing on top with the topper, but that works as well. And I would definitely recommend that you make the initials or whatever you're going to put on there as large as you can, because the blanket is big. You want the design to fill up a space so it doesn't get lost in all of that fabric. So I would go for the 5 to 10, not 10, but 5 to 6 inch, nothing smaller than a 4 inch, especially if you're only doing one initial. I don't think I would do one initial on a blanket. It would have to be 3 initials or a name or some type of motif. Or if you're going to do one initial, it needs to be the decorative initial that has all the stuff around it and the initial in the middle, because you want it to have some sides with that blanket so it doesn't get lost in the fabric. Price range, $45 to $95. Did you hear me? $45 to $95, depending upon the quality and the size and how long the quote or the name is. And you can upcharge with the text that you put on there. So you can make a pretty decent amount of money on a blanket. So don't cheat yourself. And upselling would be like a matching pillow cover or in a gift bag or something like that would be a good upsell to go along with that blanket. Or you could do a his and hers. That would be also a good gift for a friend or family or somebody that, husband and wife or grandma, grandpa, stuff like that, mom, dad, and do a matching his and hers. Because, like I said, sitting around watching TV and cuddling up with a good warm blanket is, and especially winter coming and everything, your hot cocoa, all of that, that is what you want to use that kind of information to sell it. And did I do the photo? Yeah. The photo tip, drape it on the couch with good daylight and detail the shots of the stitches. So you just kind of drape it on a couch or on a bed or even in a nice cozy chair. All of those things, like, just keep people mind open as to how they can and will use it. Number 6, aprons. Cooking, grilling, crafting. I did not think that an apron would be considered a top 10 personalized product to sell, because I wasn't sure a lot of people still use aprons. I do. I don't like to cook without an apron. So I'm an apron person, but I didn't know that other people, lots of people still use aprons. But according to the information that I got, it is a good selling product, especially for personalization. Why sell it? Because people have universal hobbies, which include cooking and grilling and crafting. They make good gifts for corporate and team events, teachers, and crafting niches. Painters, artists, anybody like that, people that do pottery, anything that can be potentially messy would work where somebody would want to have an apron. And I can think, for me, the top 2 things that pop in my mind is grilling and cooking. And Joni, you said you love aprons. So do I. Like I said, I have several aprons. I've gotten aprons for gifts because people know that I wear them. And I was very happy to get an apron as a gift. And actually, there was an upsell with that gift, because not only did I get an apron, I got the mitten, the oven mitten, everything, and pot holder to go with it. So it was pretty cool for me. I was very, very happy with the gift. The material, cotton duck, denim, canvas, cotton, 100% cotton. Make sure it has an adjustable neck for size flexibility as well as the string to tie it around. Make sure it's it's a standard size, so it'll fit most of anybody. Uh, Embroidery specs use medium tearaway. You can use an 80-12 needle, and it is suggested that the placement of your embroidery personalization be 4 to 5 inches below the top seam. So if you got the apron bib up here, then you put it 4 to 5 inches. There also people will stitch on the pocket, or they'll come all the way down the front. Just depends upon what it is that you're stitching on that. People that grill, men mostly, at least they think they're the grill king. I know my boys do. Like their stuff all the way down, and some type of saying about grilling. And it's so many different cute little sayings out there about grilling. Keep the design under 5 inches tall for the chest, it's suggested. Personalization ideas, you can call them Chef Maria, at their name, Grill Sergeant Mike. Now, my oldest son was a drill sergeant in the Marines, so I think he would get a kick out of one that has grill sergeant on it. I got to keep that in mind because I have given him an apron and a chef hat as a gift. And but that grill sergeant, I think he would get a kick out of that. You can put the crafter's name, and you can put like scissors or like a pottery wheel, or like an artist's easel, or the palette with the brush. All those kinds of different designs and stuff would work really well on an apron. And of course, if it's for a person that cooks, then it's limitless what you can put on. Avoid pocket seams, and they suggest that you hoop it upside down if there's too much of a neck strap interference, and keep your fonts bold. And if you do stitch it, if you do put it in or hoop it upside down, do not forget to flip it, your design. Do not forget to flip. I can't tell you how, well, it hadn't been a whole lot, but I know I've done a few designs where I had to put the garment in upside down, and then I forgot to flip the design, and I stitched it wrong. So be aware of that. Just keep that in mind, because if you can make that mistake. Price it between $24 and $42. You can bundle it with a towel and then add an additional $12 to $18. So I'm throwing out these prices just to make you think about what we talked about last week as far as how to price your items and not necessarily give them away. People are paying this kind of money for these things. I know I have gone into stores and have seen ready-made towels and aprons and hoodies, of course, blankets, all of that, and they're not cheap. They are not cheap. We're looking at $30, $40, $50 on up. So do not feel timid about charging these kinds of prices for your items, because keep in mind, these are one-of-a-kind personalized items that people don't have. Nobody's going to have anything just like what that person is getting as a gift, because you made it and you customize it. Even if you have an Etsy shop, it's still different. Nobody else is going to have the same exact identical item as you. So keep that in mind. Upsell, use matching towels or pot holders, or you can even add utensils and stuff like that. When you are doing your photo, hang it on a kitchen pegboard, or include some type of prop with that apron, like a whisk or a tongue, or the barbecue forks and stuff like that for the grill and everything like that. So that gives you a tip for aprons. And I'm glad to hear that people do use aprons and that they sell, because like I said, I do use aprons, and I don't see a whole lot of them in stores, but I do see them. They're a little bit too foo-foo for me, the ones that I normally find, not kind of my style. So for me to kind of get like a semi-plain apron and have it personalized, that would work for me. That would work for me. I don't like all the ruffles and fluffles and all of that kind of stuff. That's a little bit too, like I said, too foo-foo for me. That's not me. Maybe they think only old people wear aprons, and I am old, but I don't want all of that. I don't want to look like grandma because I got an apron. Not at all. Number 7, cosmetic bags and zipper pouches in the hoop. The fun in the hoop. Why do they sell? Because they have multi-uses for cosmetics, medicine, cables. You can give them to teachers and grads and bridesmaids. People use them every day. I cannot get enough of the little zipper pouches. It's what we do in our studio, in our crafting studios. We could use a ton of zipper pouches, label them with all the different things we can put in there. We can put our clips, wonder clips in there. We can put our bobbins in there. We can put our needle packs in there. We can put our seam rippers, and I can just keep going on and on and on of the things that we could put in zipper pouches to maintain them and keep things organized. So zipper pouches, they don't go out. The fabric is canvas, faux leather, quilted, or stitched in the hoop with vinyl, fabric version, glitter vinyl, all of that. We can just make them look as cute as we want to. And they are not hard. And do not run away from the zipper pouches, because I have to tell you, putting a zipper on an item on your embroidery machine is easier than putting a zipper in a garment. I'm here to tell you, it is so much easier. So don't be afraid to do a zipper pouch. Zoop, zoop, one side, you are done. You don't have to, I mean, it's just simple. It's just simple. So don't run away from it at all. Definitely do it in the hoop zipper pouch, and you'll see. It is suggested that you use medium tearaway for the canvas. For vinyl, use tearaway, and also they recommend a Teflon foot slider and a 7511 needle. Now, I was sewing on faux leather this weekend, and I used my walking foot for the whole project, and it worked wonders. I didn't have any problem at all. I was prepared to use either my roller foot or my Teflon foot. Remember, I talked about that when we talked about pressure-free, but I didn't have to. The walking foot was also one that was recommended, and it worked. I didn't have any problem at all stitching on my faux leather with my walking foot. So I'm so glad I had that on there, and it worked out. The personalization can be named, initial, a funny label like Glam Kid, Tech Cord. You can put anything on, whatever it is, cosmetic, whatever it's for, you can just put it on there. You can just label it. So like I was mentioning a minute ago, if you're going to put bobbins in it, if you're going to put needles in it, you're going to put whatever it is that you have, your wonder clips and stuff, you can definitely have cute little designs like that, phrases and what have you, nice scripted font or something, and personalize it that way. The pricing between $14 and $22 for a small one, $18 to $28 for a medium, and you can bundle it up. Set of 3 can be anywhere from $32 to $48. And don't forget to do your upcharge for your name or your personalization $4 to $8. Your upsell could be matching key fob or a bag tag, or you can bundle it with a tote that we just talked about. Total tip, lay it flat with a few items peeking out, including the ruler for size clarity. So basically, some type of ruler laying beside your pouch or your zipper bag, so people will have an idea of the exact size of it, so they can kind of figure out what it will hold. And then use your different phrases depending upon what you're intending it to be for. If it's going to be for cosmetic, or if it's going to be for organizing some other thing. Pencils for teachers, and erasers and pens and paper clips and all of those kinds of things. That's good for teachers and stuff. Even the sticky pads, you know, the different things are just endless. There's so much that you can do. Use those little pouches for. Number 8, pet bandanas and collars. Pet bandanas and collars. Those sell like hotcakes because people love their dogs, their animals, their cats. Bandanas and collars. They work. Why sell? Pet gifts are what they call evergreen. Evergreen means forever, is always going to be relevant, always. So it's evergreen, and it's for safety and cute factors. Put the pet's name on the collar. I know oftentimes we'll get little tags and put it on there, but you could also have the name embroidered on the collar itself, which is going to help if something, you know, forbid that your little baby, fur baby, comes up missing, runs away, or whatever. People will be able to quickly, hopefully, find the owner. Bandanas can be cute. You can put the pet's name on that as well. You can put cute little designs, all of that kind of stuff. And you can just kind of match it up. If you're one of these people that buy clothes for your dogs, you can match up the bandana with the clothes and all of that. My baby wouldn't wear clothes. I try to buy her little dresses and different things, and she'd have a hissy fit. She didn't even like the bandana. She'd go to the groomer, put the bandana on her. When she come home, she's not home a good 30 minutes before she's figuring out a way to rub that thing off of her. So she didn't like wear, and don't put her in any shoes. Oh my goodness, that was the funniest thing, trying to put shoes on her. That did not work at all. She wasn't having it. She was not having it. What kind of material? Slide on or tie on bandanas. You can use cotton. You can use nylon for the collars, and there's plenty enough embroidery space. Now, don't think if you have a mighty hoop, you do not have to buy the Durkee belt hoop, I think is what they call it. If you buy it, that's fine. It costs over $200, I think. But I have used my mighty hoop for embroidering on straps. It's simple, it's easy, and it does the exact same thing, especially if you, with the Brother 10 needle machine, because it has a camera. I can do it without any problem because I can adjust it and put the design in the exact spot where I want it, and it's going to fit in that 1-inch strip space, and it's being held with the mighty hoop on both ends, and it stitches out perfectly. I do not have the Durkee belt frame, although I'm not telling people don't get it. I'm just telling you don't have to. If you have mighty hoops, you can save a little money, but you can get it if you want it. No big deal. Just thought I'd throw that out. Suggested that you use medium tearaway. Now I've stitched, depending upon what the material is, you don't really need a stabilizer because I've done it. It works. No big deal. It works if it's thick enough, uh, faux leather, stuff like that. You don't need a stabilizer. You really don't. It'll work. Use a 7511 needle. If you're using faux leather, use a leather needle, which is roughly 1840, I believe, 1814, 8014, I believe. Use bold block fonts for the collar and use a narrow, tall text. Personalization, of course, the pet's name, phone number, the owner. You can put a pet paw or a bone or some kind of decoration like that, some type of seasonal print, any of those kinds of things can be put on the bandana. And of course, like I said, the name and whatever information that they want on the collar itself. Pricing for the bandana between $12 and $22. Pricing for the collar between $16 and $26. And they suggest that you can bundle the collar and the bandana, $26 to $38. And your upsell would be matching human tote or key fob and a treat bag. So basically, you got a tote that can say dog mom or something along that line, and put a key fob in there and a treat bag for the dog or a poop bag or something like that, and just bundle it that way. So that would be for your pet. Number 9. Oh, for the photo tip for the dog collar. Shoot action outside with the dog outside, and then crop it really good so people can read it. That would be perfect. So they'll actually see it on the dog, and they'll know exactly what it would look like on their own little fur baby. So that would be a good picture to take. Number 9, personalized pillow covers. And they're talking about a big size, like 18 to 20 inch pillow. And why does that sell? Because it's fast, home, and refreshed. Your pillows for your couches, your chairs, and stuff like that. You can use a family name. You can match it to your decor, and you can match it to the season. But it will always be evergreen based, which means it will always be needed. Matter of fact, people could buy a pillow cover for all 4 seasons. They could also buy a pillow cover for all the holidays. You go into Hobby Lobby, you're going to see that every holiday in there, except for Halloween, they have pillows that you can buy to put on your couch or chair or what have you. So people can definitely buy the pillow covers. Designed by Juju has designs that they use for interchangeable they call it interchangeable seasonal pillow covers, and they also have interchangeable for holidays. And I think they're just wraps that you can put on your regular pillow that has the design of whatever season or holiday that is. But they do have something along that line that you can look into. That's designed by Juju. The material, canvas or linen with a zip cover. Like I said, 18 to 20 inch. And this is just for the cover, not the insert. They said you can do insert. I wouldn't even go that route. More money for shipping. I would simply do the cover itself, not the insert. They can get their own insert. 80-20 needle placement should be centered and keep the design within 8 to 10 inch square, because you got an 18 to 20 inch pillow. So they said 8 to 10 inch square design will fit in there just fine and look good. You can use the family name. You can use monogram, reeve, house rules, surname, anything. It's so many different things that you can do with a pillow cover. it is just limitless, basically limitless. And as far as personalization, because that's kind of what we're focusing on, um, home sweet home, any of those type of phrases, you know, anything like that, family name, initials, so forth and so on. Pricing, $24 to $42. Add $10 to $18 for if you do the insert, which I wouldn't do. And you can bundle it together where you get two covers, and they said $40 to $70, depending upon the intricacy of it. And I think I would do the bundle because most people want more than one pillow to match or be at least similar. That's how they put them on their couch and what have you, what most people do. So the bundling probably would sell pretty good. And then for an upsell, you can pair it with a throw blanket. Don't forget that cozy throw blanket. And I just mentioned, and they're mentioning sell interchangeable seasonal cover with the surname. So use that design, interchangeable season, but then personalize it with the surname of the family, and that should go over very well. Photo tip, style it on a sofa or a bed or a chair with a complimentary throw, and then show the zipper and the inside finish so they know it's professionally done. If you're making the pillow yourself, or if you bought the ready-made pillow, make sure you use a good quality pillow so you can show them that this is good quality. Therefore, they will be more apt to pay that kind of money for it. If you have a serger, you can certainly serge the seams and everything so you don't have raw edges. So this is Wind Down Tuesday. So I hope Jenny and everybody else out there have their libation here so you can take a sip. Now this last one, number 10, I have to say was a big surprise to me. I never would have thought about, just like I didn't think about the apron, spa and lounge robes, waffle or plush. They say they sell very well year round. Makes sense. Hadn't thought about it, but it does make sense. People, I wear a robe. Now I don't wear a robe at home around the house all the time, but like if I got company or something, of course, I'll put my robe on. All right, but I do when I travel. I take a robe with me every time I travel. I never travel without taking a robe with me. Why? Because usually hotel rooms are cold. If I'm going to stay with a friend or a family, I don't know what the temperature is going to be like, and if we're going to sit around lounging and stuff, I like to put on a robe. So, yeah, I have robes and I wear them, and I think other people do too. So that makes sense. Why do they sell? Because people like robes for birthdays, self-care gifts, anniversary, travel, bridal, and every day. I got a beautiful Mother of the Bride robe when my son and daughter-in-law got married. I still have. I still wear. Very cute. It was personalized. I didn't do it. But anyway, I do have it. And so they do sell. And I have done robes for bridal parties. So people are going to bride. The only thing that I would tell you about the robe, I like the ruffle and the plush robe. I do not like those little satin, whatever that other material is that they use, acetate, whatever that is. I don't like stitching on that at all. It's difficult. It can be done, but I don't like it. It's not my favorite thing to stitch on, so I prefer not. But if you get into the robe business, just keep in mind, you probably will be asked to do some type of robe for a bridal party. And 9 times out of 10, they're that nylon, acetate, or satin fabric that they will want you to stitch on. And I did come up with a solution, and I'm trying to remember. I hadn't done it in a while. I'm trying to remember what in the world did I do that made, because I did a satin sash. The first time I did it, it was a pain in the butt. And then the second time I kind of researched and discovered what to use, and it worked out so much better. What I will tell you that I used the um, the compass, the dime compass, where it's this round tool that I've shown you several times, where you can twist it around, and whatever fabric that you're using, it will tell you what stabilizer to use, what needle to use, and all of that. That's what I used when I got ready to make that sash, because like I said, the first time I made it, it wore me out. I looked it up and it told me what to do, and I was like, oh my goodness, this works so much better. It escapes my mind right now what I used. I can't think of it. I'm sorry, I can't think of it. But I do know where I got the information from. So if you have one of those compass, look it up. It'll tell you exactly what the best thing is to use. So material, waffle cotton for lightweight, plus our surfer for cozy. And then all for different sizes, they said. Now the plush robe is the most luxurious, and the one that you will probably sell higher. And of course, you're going to have to use either a water-soluble topper, or you do the knockdown stitches for that. And the same thing with the waffle cotton robe. Now, I have both. My everyday or go-to robe is my cotton waffle robe. I do have one of those little slinky satin type robe. That's not my everyday robe. And then the surfer robe is not my everyday robe either, because that's kind of like a special. I'm traveling and I want to pretend like I'm in one of these fancy hotels with these really nice plush robes. So I have my own and I can do that. But yeah, 7511 needle. And it's usually left chest logo or left chest initial, left chest embroidery, what have you. 4 inches from the center and 7 to 9 inches down from the shoulder. You measure it just like you would if you're doing a left chest logo. That's what I did. And yes, I did use my Mighty Hooping Station to do my personalization, because I did do initial and a design and everything on mine, and I also have done them as gifts as well. One of the gifts I did was, again, for my son and his bride for one of their wedding gifts, and I did the plush robe, the beautiful white plush robe and everything. And I think I put his and hers, or no, I didn't. What did I do? I did the initials. I didn't do the his and hers. I did a really cute design with the initials on it. That's what I did. I did the his and hers and all that kind of stuff on the towel ensemble that I gave them. They're saying for personalization, it could be Mr. and Mrs. or the surname or whatever role you play, like nurse, dad, Nana, Gigi, all of that can be put on your robe to stand out. Or you can put a cute little phrase on there, or a cute little motif of some kind as well. You're not stuck with just the names and what have you, but it certainly is something that is popular, especially since, like we said, we are personalizing. They recommend that you float Now, I would say that as well if you're doing it on a single needle. For me, since I use my Mighty Hoop, I don't float, and I didn't baste it, but I have. And I think that was one of the things that I did with that satin as well. I think that's what I did now that I think about it, did the basting. And I want to say, I can't remember what the stabilizer was. I'm not even going to go there and tell that lie. I can't remember what it was, but I do remember basting. That helped me so much because it slips and it slides and it runs around. Even with the Mighty Hoop, it doesn't do it real bad, but it certainly did stitch a lot better and a lot cleaner when I did the basting. That part I do remember. Um, Pricing $45 to $95, depending upon the quality, and it will sell for that. $8 to $15 additional upgrade, depending upon what type of personalization you do. And for upselling, you could add a pair of slippers, a travel bag, some type of in the hoop little bag or something, and do a couple set discount, like a his and her, Mr. and Mrs., mom, dad type situation. You could do that and sell it at a bundled price. And for the photo tip, hang it on a wooden hanger near a tall ladder, close up of the chest monogram. Make it look really, really cute. Hang it up in a nice area in the bathroom, or near the closet, or even in the bedroom. And I wouldn't even hesitate to just lay it across the bed as well. That would not be a bad thing to do. Now it talks about cross-cutting tactics that boost your sales. And one of them offered only about 3 go-to fonts. You don't want to have that much of a selection. It would drive you crazy. Only have at least 3 fonts that they can choose from at various sizes, but have a limit on that. Bold block, elegant script, and maybe a kid's playful font. And, test them out to make sure they're going to look good on most things. Your monogram rules card include a graphic on listings explaining the 3-letter format. For women, first, last, middle name. For men, first, middle, last name. Women, first, last, middle. Men would be the first, middle, last. And that's if they're married, of course, because the woman usually takes the man's name. So his last name would be in the middle for her her monogram if she's doing the 3-letter monogram. Also, for your turnaround time, 5 to 7 business days, which is what I use anyway for mostly anything that I do, unless it's a rush or unless it is a busy season. And if it is a rush, you need to upcharge it $8 to $15 or up to a certain percentage that works for you. Bundling, towel plus apron, tote plus zip pouch, blanket plus pillow, bandana plus collar. To give you an idea of what you should do if you're bundling, putting things together, make people want to buy this because you did make it a bundle. Now these work for gifts. You say, I don't sell anything. These are still good ideas for just gifts. If you're thinking about what can I make for somebody for a gift, if you make a cute little bundled gift, it will go over very well. Your packaging hint, use tissue paper. If you have a brand sticker, use an optional message card and also a care card for the care of the embroidered items. Those are the things that you should include. And I also include a thank you, a little thank you sticker, thank you note, what have you, in my shipping. Make sure you always test on scrap for new fabrics, and you might save that information and everything so you'll know what size needle you used and all of that. They say have 8 to 10 images of your listing, which is what Etsy tells you, which I don't think anybody has that many pictures on Etsy, but you certainly need to have several pictures on Etsy of your product so people will have a good idea of what it looks like, the size, the close-up of the stitches, the font, all of that kind of stuff. That makes it go over well. And make sure when you are doing your pricing, the cost of goods plus labor plus your overhead, the cost of the item, the blank, your labor fee, your overhead fee that you come up with using your pricing tool, times your margin that you have, plus any personalization fee. Include your minimum floor fee. For your small, it should be $15. Medium, $25. Large, $35. That's what they're suggesting. Now, I hope you all remember what I mean by floor fee. That means you don't turn your machine on for anything less than $15, less than $20, less than $25. Whatever you have decided your floor fee is going to be, that's what you add. Now, all of those costs seem like it's going to be an extremely expensive product, but if you do it correctly with the correct tools, it still will come out at a reasonable price. It just helps you to have an idea of what to charge. That's basically it, of what to charge. And you do have to look at your competition and see what they're doing so you can stay competitive. You don't need to be as much as, you don't need to be more than, and you certainly don't have to be less than. You have to come up with what's comfortable for you and the area where you are and where you feel like you are going to make a profit. And that's how you come up with your price. It's not easy. It does change with the cost of goods, but that's it. What you have to keep in mind to do. And so those are the items that in my research they're saying is seasonal. And I'll recap. Monogram kitchen towels, $14 to $18. Bundled and upsell with mittens. So you can bundle your towels, 2 or 3 of them together for X amount of dollars, or you can do upsell where you can put it with a mitten or something. Baby blankets and swaddles, $38 to $65, depending upon the material or the type, minky, heirloom, flannel, fleece. Upsell it with bibs or burps. And you can use regular diapers for a burp towel, or you can make one that matches the blanket exactly. Number 3, tote bags, $22 to $45, and upsell it with pouches, in the hoop pouches. Hats or beanies or caps, that's $18 to $38, and upsell that with a family set, and family can include a little hat for a dog. People love their dogs, remember that. Throw blankets, throw cozy cuddle blankets, $45 to $95 and upsell it with a pillow. Aprons, $24 to $42. You can upsell that with your kitchen towels or your mittens or even utensils if you want to go that route. Cosmetic bags and pouches in the hoop, $18 to $28. Sell it as a set, $32 to $48. You can also include that as a bundle in with your tote. We're back to pets now. Pets, bandanas, and collars, $12 to $26, and you can upsell that as a bundle. Depending upon how you personalize that collar and what you made it out of, you may be able to even go a little higher. Because I know when I was buying collars and everything for my baby girl, those things were not cheap. And they weren't personalized. And they were not cheap. $18, I think, was the least amount that I paid for a collar. And it went up from there. Pillow covers, $24 to $42. Insert is extra if you intend to sell the insert. I personally wouldn't, because it just adds bulk to the sale. But, you know, if you think it'll sell better by putting the insert in there, by all means do that. The pillow covers can be upsold with your throws, your blankets. And last but not least, your spa or lounge robe, $45 to $95. Upsell that with slippers or a couple set. Now, some slippers you can get blanks where you can actually embroider on those, which will also increase the price. And I know a lot of people do that for bridal parties. Depending upon the machine that you have and the type of slipper, because it's not the easiest thing to do. You have to have the right hoop or clamp in order to do that. So, but that is a thought. Some people are doing that. And so those are the top 10. Now, what would you guys do? What would you sell? What do you think that you would sell out of the top 10? What do you think works for you? Faker McFake, you said you've sewn the aprons and gave them out as gift with embroidered monograms. And you love the half aprons. You know, I like the whole aprons the best for me because I'm messy. I'm messy. I like top all the way down. Anyone use half aprons? Joni, you say you like the full ones. I do too. I do too. Oh, and Pearl, you say you've been making memory blankets. That's pretty cool. I've never heard of the memory aprons before. Out of a loved one's dress shirt. That is really cool. I like that. I like that. I like that. Let me see what you guys have been talking about. Okay, Faker McFake, thank you so much for telling people to subscribe, hit the like button, all of that, the notification bell. Why is it saying acting up here? Let me see. I was trying to get there. You go, trying to get that off. Scrolling to see. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, notification bell. I do appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Let me see what else. Hi, Joyce. I didn't speak to you. And I didn't speak to Leslie. I acknowledged you. Who else came on that I haven't said hi to? I think that's it. And Faker McFake. I think those are the only ones that actually came on that I didn't specifically speak to. Leslie, you say you have made the poop bag. I've not done them. I've seen them. I've not done one yet. Uh, but that would be a good addition to go with the collar or the bandana or, a treat bag or a poop bag, all of those kinds of things. Like I said, I haven't done it. And Robin, you said you think you would make the baby items. They are very, they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun because they're so doggone cute. You could just really just go crazy with that because I remember I had so much fun getting ready for my great granddaughter, looking at buying and making all of those cutesy little designs. I had to make myself stop. Seriously. I had to make myself stop because it was just so much fun because they came out to be so cute. Now, she was lucky. Mom and Dad was lucky because these were gifts. I'm telling you, I know I made at least 10 heirloom quilts. And on top of that, I matched the pillows to go with it, the pillow cover. And then I had clothes to go with it. I had the onesies and the gowns and the little hats and you name it. I had that whole bundle for each one of them, and they were all in the different colors. It was so, but like I said, I was excited because I have 5 grandsons, boys, grandsons, not a one granddaughter. So, I was tickled pink and beside myself to know that I was going to have a great granddaughter. Yes, to get a chance to do the things that I wasn't able to do with the boys because you can't, well, I wasn't embroidering during that time anyway. But even with buying clothes and stuff, boys' clothes, they're cute, but they're not cute like girls' stuff are. You have to really stop yourself when it comes down to a baby girl. I'm telling you, even now she's 3. And I seriously have to stop myself because I go in the store and my eyes train and go straight to something cute. And they're not the cutesy people. Her parents, they're not the cutesy people. I think they secretly wanted a boy. They have an older boy, her brother. She has a brother that's older than her. And I think they probably wanted another boy because she might as well be a boy because they don't really doll her up the way I would if she was around me. I would have her walking around looking like a little baby doll. And they don't. I mean, she's cute and all, and they, put stuff on her. But for me, she be in all the cute little frilly stuff and ruffle stuff and embroidery stuff, all of that kind of stuff for all the time. I had to literally stop making stuff for her. I had to just stop because I was just getting crazy. I said, and they weren't sending me pictures of her in it anyway. So I said, well, if they're not going to send me pictures so I can see her in her little outfit, I'm not going to keep making them. So I just, well, I didn't completely cut her off. I just slowed down. I put it that way. I just slowed down because I was like, yeah, whatever. And hi, Arlene, how you doing? And you said, hello, Shirley, really enjoyed your research. Well, thank you so much. I do appreciate it. I do try to come up with stuff that I think is going to be of value that you guys could use. Probably know quite a bit of this, and then some stuff maybe is new to you or a refresher to you. I know for me, I learn something every week when I'm doing my research. So that I enjoy. So next week, if all goes well, I will have a guest on, maybe 2. But I have reached out to a fellow content creator that's doing very well on her channel. I'm not going to tell you who that person is. We have spoken, and she has agreed to come on. So we got to firm up everything. So next week there will be a guest. maybe 2, don't know. But that will be for next week. And we're going to talk about from hobbyist to shop owner, building confidence to sell your work. That's going to be what we're talking about next week, from hobbyist to shop owner. And that's why I wanted to reach out and bring a guest in that's doing very well with their business and their shop, and just kind of pick her brain, hopefully. Like I said, if all goes well. I'm hoping all goes well. So let's keep our fingers crossed and we don't have any hiccups or anything. And we'll be able to do that next week. I am looking forward to it. Also, for you all and I don't think I spoke to Margot. Hi, Margot. Thank you for stopping by. I see your name, and Joni. I think I spoke to you, Pearl. Don't want to leave anybody out. I think I spoke to everybody. But anyway, I'm going out of town Thursday. I'll be back on Monday. I plan to be on the live on Tuesday and do the Wednesday night Zoom. And then I'm back out again next Thursday. So I'm doing a lot of traveling and stuff well, not a lot. I'm just going 2 places this week and next week. So that'll be fun, but I will be tired. And again, like I said, I hope it all works out. But those of you that came in later after I first came on, I did speak about my channel, and I just want to let you guys know that I am aware of the issues that I've been having with the internet, with the lagging and the freezing and all of that. And I never know what it's going to look like until after the fact when I look at the replay, and I'm apologizing for that, but I'm working on it. I have switched to a new internet company. They're supposed to get me set up on Monday, and I'm also in the process of switching my streaming account as well, because I'm trying to figure out what I can do to get rid of this issue and make things better. So I just want to apologize. I don't want anybody to think that I don't know that there's an issue. And I do appreciate you hanging in here. And hopefully I'll be able to get this fixed. I don't know what it looks like. Like I said, I don't know until I look at the recording. Those of you that watch the live get a good visual. That's the reason why you see the green screen behind me. I didn't move. This is a green screen. This ain't my house. I ain't got no piano. I can't play. But I moved downstairs, practically sitting on top of my modem to try to see if I could get a better feed. And I'm not sure if that worked. So I'm pretty disappointed with that. But I am working on it. And if it's heavenly possible, I will get to the bottom of this and we will have a better feed going forward. So I am working on it. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys for hanging in here with me. I do appreciate it. I appreciate your support. And please do not forget to give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Also, hit the notification bell so you know when I'm coming on again. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you have any suggestions of some type of information that you want me to cover, please put that in the comment. Go to my channel, right on the comment page, and I will do my best. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say good night because I got to get up early tomorrow. Go get my hair cut, go get it colored, and finish packing and get ready to get out of here. So thank you guys for hanging in there with me. I do appreciate it. Talk to you later. Have a wonderfully blessed rest of your week. Good night, everybody.